Welcome to Slant News TV. In today's news, we report on the latest developments from Russia, where opposition activist Vladimir Kara-Murza has been sentenced to 25 years in jail. The charges are linked to his criticism of the war in Ukraine, including spreading false information about the Russian army and being affiliated with an undesirable organization. Mr. Kara-Murza is a Russian-British former journalist and politician who has denied all of the charges. He was a key player in persuading Western governments to impose sanctions on Russian officials for human rights abuses and corruption. He was arrested a year ago in Moscow, initially for disobeying a police officer, but more serious charges were leveled against him once he was in custody. The case against Mr. Kara-Murza was partly based on a speech he made to politicians in the US last year, where he accused Russia of committing war crimes in Ukraine with cluster bombs in residential areas and the bombing of maternity hospitals and schools. These claims have been independently documented but deemed false by Russian investigators who said the defense ministry did not permit the use of banned means of conducting war and insisted Ukraine's civilian population was not a target. Another charge stemmed from an event for political prisoners at which Mr. Kara-Murza referred to what investigators called Russia's supposedly repressive policies. Last week, a copy of a speech he made to the closed court was released, in which he said his trial reminded him of a Stalin-era show trial of the 1930s. The 25-year sentence handed down to Mr. Kara-Murza is the longest an opposition figure has received since the war in Ukraine began. It is also a sign that the authorities in Russia are not only determined to silence critics but also to neutralize anything or anyone they believe represents a threat to the political system. Reactions to the verdict. The British government summoned its Russian ambassador to express concern about the lack of commitment to protecting fundamental human rights, including freedom of expression, and Human Rights Watch described the verdict as a travesty of justice and called for Mr. Kara-Murza's immediate release. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny also weighed in on the sentencing, calling it revenge by the Kremlin for the fact that he did not die at one time after he allegedly survived 2 poisonings by Russian authorities. That's all for now. We will keep you updated on any further developments in this story. Thank you for watching Slant News TV.